Hello and welcome to the British Book Guide, my new channel. I'll give you a quick rundown of what the channel's about, what we're going to do, what my aim is with the channel, what I'm going to try and get out of it. So obviously this is a booktube channel. It is mostly going to be about books, but I don't want to talk about just books because as you can see I've also got some Blu-rays here. You might be able to see some Xbox One games just here in the corner. We are going to be talking about mostly books, but I also do want to talk about films and some games, because those are all my interests and I don't want to talk about just one thing. I'm going to spread it out a bit, but because it is a booktube channel, without a doubt, it is mostly going to be books. So I'll tell you a bit about why I started this blog. I wanted to, because I'm a writer as well, I don't just read, I also write, and I want to hold myself accountable. I want a way of checking what I'm doing and seeing what progress I'm making sure I'm kind of hitting all my targets and what my aims are, getting everything done. And this is a great way of holding myself accountable. So I've got a list here that I want to run through very quickly. I'll be very quick with it. Just all the things I'm trying to get through and achieve. This is the list on my iPad. Hope the camera's still recording. So the first one on the list is complete The Witcher 3. This is a really long game, but also it's not going to take too long to complete because it has an ending. The second one on the list is to read. That one doesn't end. That one's obviously ongoing. As you can see, I like my reading. Nice and original thought I had. Where shall I film? Why don't I film in front of my bookshelf? Nobody else has ever done that. What an original thought, Jake. I do have a minion, so hopefully I get kudos points for having a minion. I'm currently reading The Golem's Eye by Jonathan Stroud, which is the second instalment in the Bartimaeus trilogy. I first read this when I was about 12 and I haven't read it since, so it's been about 10 years, and I thought I'm going to come back to something I really liked when I read it. I remember really liking it, and I'll come back to it. And, you know, I'll probably understand more of the words in it now than I did when I was 12, so... And the third one on my list is to finish writing my novel. I am currently writing a novel. I'm about 20,000 words in, which is really nothing. I'm aiming for it to be about 90,000 words. I started the novel about the beginning of the year, and I planned for it to take about a year to write. So I said I'd write a quick plan, wouldn't take long, just a bare bones, sort of what happens, the main events in the story. I don't know what this is. Maybe one day it will stop. Probably not. I've hit 20,000 words, and if possible I still really want to get it done by the end of the year. I don't know how plausible that is, it might not happen, but that's my aim. If I don't make it, I'm not going to kick myself too much, but I will a little bit. The next thing on the list is the other thing that I do. I write for independent game companies. I'm writing the scripts, I'm a narrative, and technically the narrative designer. So the one game that I've been working on is pretty much done now. It's coming out in a few months, which is really exciting. The other one isn't anywhere near being completed. I'm heading towards the demo, but that's not for a few months now, so it's less work for a longer deadline, so not really too worried about that. The next thing is to start a YouTube channel. Haha, it's working out. The other thing I want to do is I want to write short stories and get them published. I've been in a bit of dive with short stories. You know how it is, you come up with an idea for a short story and you think it's really good and you're really excited about it, but you're working on something else, so you shelve this idea, you put it in a file somewhere, you think I'll come back to it when I've got the chance, but when you come back to it, it's not as exciting as it was when you had the idea. You can't initially remember the inspiration that made you want to write the story, so you kind of just leave it there and you don't come back to it. So I've got I've got dozens of ideas to write down, but I don't like any of them. They're all a bit rubbish, so I'm waiting to come up with a really good idea. So the other thing I do is I'm a filmmaker. My degree is in film. It's what I really like to do. So the next thing on the list is to keep an eye out for any film productions that are happening in my area, in the whole of the UK if possible, and just kind of see where I can fit in. So that's my to-do list. Those are all the things I want to do within the next, mostly by the end of the year, I'd say. Obviously some of those are ongoing and may never end. And that's everything, actually. You know, that's my first ever video done. So I don't have a schedule yet, but this is something that I'm going to stick at, something I'm going to do every week. Really want to stick to this, okay? So leave a like if you liked, and I will see you next week. Before I forget, I'm also a ukulele player. I've only been playing a week. I'm not a good ukulele player. This is my first ever ukulele. That's why it's purple, because I got a cheap one. I didn't want to say anything else, but I showed everyone that I restrung this myself and nobody cared. So I'm going to show you guys and hope that you can appreciate a little bit. But I spent 2 hours just learning how to put these 4 strings in and then putting them in. Not easy to do, you know? Like, I've got it down. I can probably do it again. It's quite easy when you get the hang of it. And then I put it on Facebook and everyone was like, eh. And I was like, in 2 hours of my life stringing a bloody ukulele. That's why these are still here, I haven't clicked them off yet. So, bye.